Hey boys and girls, it's Mrs. Bartell. So today is the first day that we're going to start our review test. Now, boys and girls, you need to be doing this independently before you watch the video. The video would be for you to come back and check your work and try to see what mistakes you made and how you can learn from those mistakes. All right? So we're only going to do, it's 3 pages. There's a front side and a back side, so that's 6 pages altogether. You're only going to do 1 each day. So this is the first side, okay? This wants you to select the way that shows the shaded fraction, and they want you to mark all. Boys and girls, that's a key word, meaning there's probably going to be more than one answer. The first thing I'm going to do is count up how many pieces altogether. There's 4. And they all look equal. So I would know that the unit fraction here is 1/4. And I'm going to actually label those in there. And then if I look at my shaded part, I can see that that's 3 of those 1/4. So they want you to select the way that shows the shaded fraction. Can't possibly be 1/4 because there are 3 of them. So that cannot be the answer. So we can eliminate that. 4/3. Boys and girls, look at your denominator. It's 4. Can't be 4/3. And that would be greater than a whole anyway. 3/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Yes. C is an answer. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Absolutely. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Yes, this is an answer. 4/1. Remember, boys and girls, if your denominator is 1, that means that the numerator is actually a whole number. So this is 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 8. No way. No, not that. So your only 2 choices here would be the C and the D. Hopefully you came up with those 2. All right, here we go. Number 2, for checking your work. What unit fraction of the whole shape is the yellow? Draw a line from the shape to the unit fraction. Well, you know how I like to make things complicated. So the first thing I would be doing is counting up how many pieces altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4. And 1 is yellow. That's how I would attack this problem. Now I'm going to know that I need to draw my line down here to 1/4. I would do the same thing on the next problem. There are 2 equal pieces. That's going to be my denominator. The whole rectangle was divided into 2 equal pieces. How many are yellow? 1. Half of that is yellow. Okay, counting up the pieces for the whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces altogether. And only 1 is yellow. So 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know you're saying to yourself, Mrs. Bartell, there's only 1 left. It's, there only could be 1 answer. But you know how I like to make sure on everything. 1/6. There were 6 equal parts. Pretty easy, right? Hopefully you got those. Hopefully if you're stuck, you can kind of go back now and see what you did wrong. All right, on the back side. It says to use a straight edge. That's like a bookmark, boys and girls, or a ruler. Okay, use a straight edge to divide the fraction bar into 6 equal pieces. And then 6 equal pieces. Shade 4 of them. I am not going to use a straight edge. I'm going to kind of estimate. And I know when I'm dividing something into 6 equal pieces, I can start by cutting it in half. I can start there. And then what I can do is cut this part into 3 equal pieces and this part into 3 equal pieces. And 3 and 3 is 6. So I'm going to divide here like that. So I have 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, I'm labeling my unit fractions. And it said to shade 4 of those parts. Shade 4. Now, what fraction does the shaded fraction bar represent? Well, boys and girls, 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 equals 4/6. So the shaded part represents 4/6. Okay, the next statement says show the fraction as the sum of unit fractions. We just did that. Or I just did that. 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. What's the sum going to be? We have it up here. It's going to be 4/6. Alrighty, here we go. Mark the number line to show the fractions. Oh boy. Now this is where I would probably, I hate to tell you, I would probably get a whole separate paper and I would make 4 different number lines. In fact, that's what I'm going to do right now. So, I'm going to make 4 number lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. And I'm going to make them all the same size and the same length, same width, same length. Imagining that they're perfect, right? Okay, the first one I see is 1/8. Then I see 5/8, and I see an 8/8, and I see a 3/4. Dividing something into 4 pieces is a lot easier than dividing it into 8 right away. So I'm going to do this bottom one first. And I know if I take my whole and I cut it in half, and then I cut each half in half, I will get 4ths. So there are 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. So shading to there. Now 8/8, boys and girls, that's the whole thing. But I will divide it for you. Remember, to do 8s, we'll cut it in half. We'll cut each half in half to make our 4ths. And then we'll cut each 4th in half, and then we'll have our 8s. And we're going to shade all 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. These are 8ths as well, boys and girls. So I'm going to cut them in half, cut each half in half, cut each quarter in half to get my 8ths. All right. They want you to shade 1/8 here. And here it said to shade 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, I know they said to do it on a number line. And we can look at this and look at our piece of paper and kind of put our paper here like this. So you could kind of see where they would be. All right? The only problem here is that the pieces aren't labeled. So this would be 1/8. This was 5/8 down here. This was 8/8, which would be all the way at the end, boys and girls, not just like here. And then this was 3/4. So hopefully this kind of helps you with that number line. So taking this and now putting it on the number line, the easiest thing to do would be to divide this whole into 4 equal pieces. So cut it in half and cut each half in half. And then we have our quarters. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 right here. and then 4/4 is the whole. Okay, the next one, 8/8. I'm going to tackle that first because that's the whole. So we already have our quarters. So if you cut your quarters in half, you will now get your eighths. So 8/8 is going to be way down here. It's going to be the whole thing. So 1/8 will be right here. 2, 3, 4, 5/8 will be right there. Okay? I think it's easier to look at it like this, but this is what they were asking you to do. So if it was a test, you would actually have to do it on here. I just think it's easier to have your fraction bar model first. All right, looking at that, they want you to write each of the fractions in the box below to tell whether it's less than 1, equal to 1, or greater than 1. Now remember, boys, if it's equal to 1, the numerator and the denominator are going to be the same. Which one or maybe ones are equal to 1 whole? 4/4. Numerator and the denominator are the same. Less than 1 whole. In other words, the numerator has to be smaller than the denominator. 1/3, definitely, and 5/6. This is 6 wholes because the denominator is 1. 3 halves. So to be greater than 1, the numerator has to be greater than the denominator. All right, that's it for today. Tune back in and correct tomorrow's. I hope you rocked it. Remember, we're not going to take a real test, so don't panic. Just hope you learned something. All right, bye.